You can be forgiven for thinking that all the opportunities to invest well in Sydney are gone, with the market in general terms winding down and growing evidence that in some areas at least prices are falling. But there, in any market, there are always opportunities if you know where to look for those opportunities. Right now in Sydney, it's become a little bit more selective. You need to know where to look to find the opportunities for future growth. But particularly if you take a long-term view, those opportunities do exist. And many of them arise out of government policy decisions. One example is what's happening for the city of Ryde, where there's a state government-inspired 2-year development freeze on rezoning applications because it's considered that there's been too much development and that the infrastructure hasn't kept up. The local member, who's also the State Minister for Finance, is campaigning for a more stringent and more long-term freeze on new development, and that would tend to put a floor under existing property values. This is a very popular area of Sydney. It's got a lot of great infrastructure. The whole Macquarie CBD, Macquarie University, hospital, shopping precinct, and a whole lot more. Very high property values, long-term growth rates are excellent. Most suburbs average 10 or 11% per year for the last decade. And if development of future dwellings is to be restricted, then we're going to see that factor alone underpinning current property values and providing opportunities for growth. Across the Sydney metropolitan area, there are going to be future opportunities to buy well for capital gains as a result of infrastructure spending. The new airport at Badgerys Creek is towards the top of that list, and all the other infrastructure, road, rail and other, that's going to arise out of that project alone is going to generate growth. We've already seen it happen. Any properties within reasonable proximity of the site for the proposed second Sydney airport have grown in value at rates much higher than Sydney averages over the last few years, and we expect that to continue. So those areas that are proximate, well located to benefit from that, they include nearby local government areas like Penrith, Blacktown, Liverpool, Camden and Campbelltown, all areas which offer a high degree of affordability than most areas of Sydney and are set to benefit from various major infrastructure projects, particularly transport infrastructure. That word affordability is a very important one as well. Right now, first-home buyers are particularly active around Australia, but particularly in the Sydney market. There's been a 74% increase in the last 12 months in loans to first-home buyers in Sydney, a remarkable rise. They're being inspired to a certain degree by state government incentives, helping them into a first home, and they've been targeting those areas that are relatively affordable on the outer ring areas of Sydney in particular. So we're talking about Penrith, Blacktown, Camden, Liverpool. That will coincidentally are the areas that benefit from current and proposed future infrastructure developments. So there are still opportunities like those to buy well in Sydney and to have good prospects for future growth, particularly taking a medium to long-term view. So our new Top 5 Sydney Hotspots reports tells you where those opportunities exist, and we have a particular offer this time, a bundle offer. We're also offering as a package the no-go zones report, so it tells you where not to buy. It emphasises the fact that to get the best out of investing in the Sydney area at the moment, you need to be a lot more selective than you needed to be in the last 4 to 5 years when achieving capital growth was relatively easy. You need to be selective about where you buy. You also need to be selective about where you don't buy, because there are some areas of the Sydney metropolitan property market where, and particularly in areas with heavy supply of new apartments, that values are falling, vacancies rising, and these are the ones to avoid. And they're highlighted in the no-go zones report, which is included in the package with the Top 5 Sydney Hotspots report. That's it for now. Terry Ryder from hotspotting.com.au signing off. We'll talk to you again soon.